we'll do this. I won't take too long. Sometimes I tend to talk a little bit. I get a little winged sometimes. So it's been awesome. I'm excited to be here. It's being at home. This is my hometown. This is where it all started for me. I have my 2 kids here, my wife, my best friends are here, and that's what it's about. Mindy mentioned there's going to be moments in your business when it changes, your why changes, your priorities change, and so forth. So I was thinking about that today, and like a lot of my journey with Beachbody, I just want you guys to know I fed off of recognition a lot. So I feel really like I've spoken in front of 8,000 people multiple times, and whatnot, but I feel like really good here. Like looking at my my best friends here, my daughter's here, and my wife here. And one thing I want to share before I share my journey, who has heard my story, like how I started with P90X? Who has? Okay, who hasn't? Okay, so I'm going to tell you. But one thing before we start, one person, well, there's multiple people that have helped me get started on my health and fitness journey, but what this one person did is exactly what every single one of us should do. It was, here's another question. How many are LDS here, just so I know, so you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so this new guy moved into my neighborhood, and he was assigned as the ward mission leader, and is someone that helps find people that are inactive and not going to church and whatnot. So one day I was home, and this guy knocks on the door, complete stranger, I didn't know who he was, and he had this plate of brownies, so I let him in. And I'd never done a workout. I'd never been into working out at all yet. And he came in, he's like, I just moved here from Utah, and I'm just looking at, you have a couple of daughters that are age of my kids, and I only had Kina and Mila at the time. Now we have 5, but at the time I just had the 2. And we talked, and I was like, I like this guy, he's a cool guy. But the thing is, he was like 6'3", like 230 pounds or something, like solid muscle. And I'm this fluffy 187 pound, 5'11" guy with no muscles at all. And so I just was talking to him, I'm like, dude, how are you so ripped? Like, how are you so jacked? And he's like, well, I train I'm the special, I can't remember what it's called, but he trained the special team for the IF Tigers, for the football team. He was a strength coach and the special teams coach. And so I was like, dude, can you teach me how to get healthy and fit? He's like, first, I'm gonna teach you the push diet. He's like, push bad foods away from the table. Anything tastes good, push it away. That's not true though. You can eat like you're gonna taste back here really tasty, good stuff. But that's just what he told me in the beginning. And then he invited me to come work out with him, with the high school kids, the strength kids. And unfortunately, the time I was working from 5 in the morning to 5 at night, and Gabby worked from 3 in the afternoon till 11. So I couldn't go work out with them because they worked out at 6. So I said, do you have anything I could do at home? And he said, you should do that PX90 workout. And how many of you guys have heard the PX90? So it's actually called P90X if you don't know Beachbody workouts. But so I did P90X from start to finish, committed to it 100%. And I lost like 38 pounds. I was actually a little bit too light. I weighed like 145 when I finished the program. Now I weigh like 175, so you can tell. Like I weigh almost what I did when I started, just not fluffy and out of shape. But I committed to that program, fell in love with that process, and people started asking me what I was doing. And so I started doing what this guy did for me. He gave me some advice, told me what I could do, invited me to work out with him. And I started to help people, and I fell in love with that. And I actually helped probably 30 people before I ever signed up to be a Beachbody coach. I just told them to get P90X, get Insanity. And I fell in love with the process. I heard him talk about that on the video, where like I remember getting to my work, a little before 5, and I would like get to my desk, and I'd open up my computer there, and I would check to see for emails and messages from my friends that were doing the workouts. And so that's how I began my journey. I fell in love with it. And I was thinking about my journey as we were sitting here today. Like I remember sitting when I met Josh Hope for the first time, sitting at a coffee table, telling me how I needed to get more in shape for BMX riding and how a little extra income could help. I remember a retreat with Chris and Mindy. These products are awesome. I remember when I gave him some E&E for the first time. And now we have Energize, which is better. Well, we did a workout, but he ran around the cabin like 78 times before we started the workout. Like that's how good that stuff works. And I remember the Gut Keys being in my first challenge group ever. First time we ever introduced challenge groups as coaches in 2011. my first ever challenge group, and they were part of that. I remember Garrett, meeting him at Alberto's. Yes, we had a big Idaho burrito, but we talked about how he wanted to get in shape, and then 42 days later, after I didn't sell him anything, I just let him borrow my stuff, my portion container cups that you learned about up here, and my DVDs, and he lost 6 pant sizes in 42 days. And that's what this is about, and that's what I want you guys to remember about Beachbody, is it's about helping people live a healthier, more fulfilling lifestyle. I'm not going to talk about like business advice, like how to invite people and whatnot. I'll maybe recap on the 4 vital behaviors, because I think it's important. But the one thing that I do want you guys to know is you can have all the money and success in the world and still not be happy. And one of the best ways to ever attract people and to build something that's going to last and be fun is to be happy and to have fun doing it. And I heard Carl say that, talking about getting out there and having fun and being happy. And I'm going to give you guys some tips on that. So I'm usually just like pump you up, motivate you. That's like my style. I'm going to give you some tips, like something you can do as you leave here. But I want to talk about probably one of the most impactful moments of my journey. And it's not going to be the day I signed up. I've talked about that a lot. Overwhelmed with the birth of my 3rd daughter. She's not here. Ellie, she's 6. That's the day that I started when I realized I didn't know how to pay the hospital bills without taking on another job or having my wife Gabby change jobs. And so I signed up that day, but one of the most impactful days, like I've had ups and downs in this business just like anybody else, but the one thing that has kept me going forever, I guess you could say, through the ups and downs is when they're here, they're never here when I tell this story. When I was about 8 months into my journey, and it was really hard. How many of you guys have ever had a hard time that are coaches, where you're like, this is hard? Someone quits, or someone returns something, or you miss success club by 1 point, any of those things, right? There's hard things. Or you have a coach that quit, and now you feel like you're alone. There's lots of different hard things that you can experience in a business, let's say. But I was experiencing those things because I was going to work, and I don't want to be like, oh, poor me, I was working hard and whatnot. But I was going to work at 5 o'clock every single morning, getting off at 5, picking up Keena and Mila, who were like probably 5 and 3, 4 and 2, picking them up from the neighbor's house, doing my P90X, like trying to include them in that, like get them which meant put a YouTube video for them while I did my P90X, feed them, bathe them, get them to bed. Gabby would be home like 11:30, and I'd be asleep because I'd have to be back up at 4. And the one thing I didn't mention is there was this Beachbody business I was building, and I was one of those that wanted to do a full-time, not part-time for me. I didn't want to do it full-time until later on, which is where I'm going with this story. But in the beginning, it was just part-time. I just wanted to bring her home. But I remember this moment that came because I was working on this business 7 days a week, every single night from 8 till midnight, like a job. Because remember, I needed to get another job, or Gabby needed to change jobs. So Beachbody for me was like a job, but I already loved doing it. And I had the man cold, and I was sick for like 3 days, and wouldn't get out of bed. And I remember Gabby on a Friday, I think it was a Friday, said, hey, you should get dressed, take a shower, and Keena's about to get off the school bus. She was just in kindergarten. And so she recommended that I do that because I would feel better if I got up. So I did that, and I remember going to get Keena from the school bus. And we live in the back of a cul-de-sac on the west side of town, and the bus pulls up by the mailbox at the end of the cul-de-sac. And I remember getting halfway down the cul-de-sac, and the bus pulled up. And I remember, the squeak when the door opens? And the bus opens, and these 2 little hands kind of grab the little handrail because she's so small. And she looks up, and she sees me. And probably like I'm going to do right now, I just stopped. And I just got really emotional. And I had tears going down my face, and I just remember seeing this smile. And at that moment, I just remember saying, how many, because I've never picked her up from the bus before, how many of these moments have I missed before? And how many will I continue to miss if I keep working these long hours, 12-hour days? How many will Gabby miss if she keeps working at nights? And that's the day I decided, no matter how hard it seemed at this moment, or how hard it ever got, that I was always going to stay true to helping people get results like I did, how I was transformed through Shakeology, P90X, the support and accountability of a coach. And I also realized that if this guy, with many shortcomings, I could probably say many like 1,000 times, and mistakes, if I could do it, then anybody could do it. And I could teach and show anybody to do it through my example. And so that's why I'm here today. That's why I don't care if this room used to have 200 people and now we have 30. Because we're going to take it back to 200 plus, because you guys are incredible people. And we can help people if we stay true to the mission. Well, like I said, like we can have 200 people. You guys can have 200 in your own team here. And you can have all the money and rank advancements and elite. You can go on the trip to Greece if you want. And none of that will bring you happiness. And you won't attract those people and help those people unless you are truly happy. So I want to give you guys an example of how to be happy. This is going to be my teaching moment for you guys. How long have I gone? How long does the video say there?
11 minutes.
11 minutes, okay. This is good. That usually takes me like 30 minutes. Okay. So I was playing, so I've been working on doing things that I enjoy more, because I went through some things over this past year where I just got stressed out, and that's not like me to get stressed out or feel stressed out. So I started playing Call of Duty, which I used to play and love, on with a controlled basis. So I had a game night with one of my buddies. We played from like 9 till 1:30 in the morning last night. And I'm going to tell this story because when I lay in bed after I play Call of Duty, like I still see dudes running around, and I'm still pulling up my scope and throwing grenades. And then when I'm driving to work today, or driving here to work, I haven't driven to work for 5.5 years. When I'm driving here, this is my work, I guess. When I'm driving here this morning, I get here, and we don't have a computer cable, so that reminded me back of the day too. Like I ran over to Fred Meyer and bought one of those. But I was running over there, and I was looking behind the snowbank for guys, like laying there with sniper rifles. And I was checking through windows of the parked cars for people. And it's kind of funny how that works. Your mind gets trained. When you focus on something and see something over and over, your mind gets focused on those things. And you can see them, even if they're not there. And so that's something I've learned about and been focusing on and working on in my life. It's called the Tetris Effect. So many of you guys probably haven't played Call of Duty. So I'm going to refer to the game Tetris. How many of you guys have played Tetris before or know what Tetris is? Okay. If you play Tetris for hours, like you'll close your eyes and you'll see the little bars and the little L's, and you see them in your mind and you're trying to fit them even when you're not playing it. And you might even walk out the door, not really here, but if you live somewhere where there's skyscrapers, you can do it here with trees and whatnot. You walk out and you see how like one building, if it tipped over, could fit between two other buildings. You start to look at things like that and identify with things like that. It's called the Tetris Effect. And it happens to all of us in our minds and in our brains. So if you are stressed out or deal with anxiety, or you're miserable or unhappy, or you face moments of these in your life, which, how many of you guys have ever felt one of those things before? I think everybody has. You can train your mind to see the positive. And when you train your mind to see the positive, you can eliminate a lot of the negative and the unhappiness and those things that you're facing. And it was hard for me to ever like teach that before, because I didn't really feel like I ever felt depressed or stressed out or anything before. So I've been working on this a lot, and I'm going to give you guys an activity. I'll have you guys write it down. But there was a study I'm going to tell you guys about first, which will really help you guys understand how to find opportunity in this business, in Team Beachbody. It's all around. Beachbody's all around. Opportunity is all around for you guys to help people. Like, if you walked out here with the right focus or walked into Fred Meyer, I guarantee you, in 20 minutes, you could find 50 people that need your help. Easy. Like, there's opportunity everywhere for us to help people. And there was this study that was done by some researchers that were studying the brain and happiness. And they got some people that were unhappy and unfulfilled with life and work, and some people that were extremely happy and fulfilled with their work. There's these two groups of people, and they took them into a study, and they had this like an ad, kind of like a Thrifty Nickel type ad, and there were pictures in it. And they told these people, like, we're going to give you 3 minutes to go through and count all the pictures in the ad, and when you get done, there'll be a reward. And so they started, and what happened is some of the people went through, read all the way through, counted the pictures, and they had that total at the end. Here's the thing the scientific researchers did. On the very first page, there was a picture that said, you can stop now, there's 47 pictures. And then a couple pages later in the ad, there was like, if you see this, tell the researcher to give you the $250. And so those people stopped counting then, told the researcher, hey, I saw this picture that says, ask you for the $250, and they were rewarded with $250. And so what happened is they found that the people that were unhappy and unsuccessful in their family life and their work life counted all the pictures and counted the 47 pictures. The people that are happy and fulfilled in their life or in their work, they got either the 250 or they didn't have to count all the pictures and said they found that first picture and said, hey, there's this many pictures in here, I'm done. And so the moral of that story, I guess you could say, is that when you have more happiness and fulfillment in your life and have more fun, happiness, fulfillment, learn to identify the positive things in your life versus the negative things, you're going to be able to find more opportunity. So what I mean by that, like I could give you all the training on how a website can help you, or a blog, or a Facebook ad, or asking for referrals, or how to invite people, or how to talk to someone on the phone, how to run a challenge group. Any of those things I can teach you about. They're all on YouTube from many successful people. But one of the best things, aside from believing in yourself first, is learning to find and see opportunity by being happy and fulfilled with your life. So I'm going to give you guys an activity if you want that can help you do this, and I'll just have you write it down. Really simple activity. It can take 5 minutes a day. You do it first thing in the morning. You do it at night before you go to bed. It's just as simple as calling it like a gratitude journal, or you call it your happiness journal. Like I would, for this year, if that's part of your goal, is to find more success or happiness, is like come up with your own word for it, like your happiness journal or your success secret plan. I don't know what you call it. But what you're going to do is just every single day before you start anything or before you go to bed is just write down 3 things that are positive. 3 things that are positive in your life that you could see. I started this speech, I guess you could say, by mentioning the positive things that I remembered about my journey, about starting the Guckies, about the talk with Josh, the talk with Scott and what they did, and the fun that it was at that retreat with the Rose family. So I'm even working that on myself. Like I started that speech with that intention so I can learn also to continue to see all of the positive things that are around. So I don't look at this and be like, oh, there's only 50 people here. Next time, is there going to be 30, right? Because that's the way your mind will work if you're in the negative thought process. So what that's going to do when you do this activity, you can do it 5 in the morning or 5 at night, is that it's going to retrain your brain. It's going to retrain your brain to begin looking for the more positive things that are going on in your life. And when you do that, you're going to have more, you're going to be more open to seeing the great things that are going on around you. And that's what I want for you guys. I want you guys this year to be happy. Like Breezy taught you guys some of the nutrition stuff and 80-day obsession, the workout stuff. That'll transform your life completely if you follow the meal plan, drink Shakeology, use the supplements, do your workouts. But if you can do this and work on finding that true inner peace and true happiness, you're going to find so many opportunities around you to really make an impact on people's lives. So thank you guys. I don't want to take any more of your time, but I'm excited to do a workout with you guys.